Is it true that they have taken whistleblower reports and or that they've taken electronic accounts actually connected to people in their social media and they've removed people from being able to access their own information and redacted certain parts and then swapped out other data into the parts that they've redacted in order to literally engineer people cybernetically? And so, as part of what they're not revealing about the crypto economy, are they literally genetically engineering people and then trying to pre program people into particular kinds of performances and using documentation, including all of these teleconferences and webinars that are happening, as a way to try to automate processes of social engineering? Do you think so? Let's see. It's a good it's good posturing for me to have, forward, back. How should I comport my wardrobe? These shades, you know, covering my eyes. What's the implications? Is that what the Russian IRA is about? Because I contend it is. I contend that that's what the Russian IRA is about. That's why we're being put into our own homes where we're supposed to accede to allowing our own personal space to be made into somebody else's production studio. Okay, so what do we do practically about this? What are we going to do practically about this actual understanding that people are completely 100% abusing their power of surveillance for nothing that actually has to do with national security, but that's basically just about stealing from us? What are we going to do? Anybody got any ideas? Anybody got any ideas? Does anybody remember when in the beginning of 2000, I think it was 19, the president commissioned Mick Mulvaney to begin a special commission regarding examination of use of cryptocurrencies in the federal budget? Now, I contend that there have been cryptocurrencies connected to the federal budget all the way since the beginning. This is just my contention. But that was supposed to last a year. That was last year. So what's going on this year? Texas has all these laws on confidentiality of information that started at the beginning of this year, this calendar year, that were not there before. And a lot of that public information is the kind of stuff that you get so that you can piecemeal timelines and other information about reports of fraud or about theft of personal identity or other things you would need in order to establish a chain of events in order to pursue charges if you've been either defrauded or you've been dispossessed of your rights in some manner. Now they want that information to be confidential. Terms of contracts, actual locations, and other affiliates of certain business entities in the state. Terms regarding any sort of lawsuit with a political subdivision. They made this information confidential. It's very interesting what they allowed to be confidential at the beginning of this year. You know what that means? That means that if they're using information connected to those cases or those investigations, including investigations that you might have contributed to in some way by filing a grievance or filing a report, and then they've redacted certain information so they can swap it out with another piece of information that they've inserted in there in order to make it a proprietary process as part of an automation system, including an information automation system for somebody else. And then they sell that information as part of a contract with the city or with the state, and then you get to put your own brand on it. You can literally steal from somebody and create products with their life. So then what determines whether or not when that person finds you, what kind of accountability you have to them for stealing their life, creating product lines, and then trying to sell them to other people, including back to the person themselves? I got your life. Yes, I got it through fraud, but now the processes by which you could demonstrate it was fraudulent have been made confidential. And I have a product, and you know this is from your life. Yes, it is, but you don't have the money to buy it. What am I supposed to do about it? It's not my fault you don't have the money. Is that what they're manufacturing? Is it? I mean, lots of the stuff right now being offered for free. But what are you really doing when you buy in and you listen? Are they actually engaging in processes of trying to bioengineer people using the telecommunications system? Are these webinars actually a means by which they are trying to engage people in some sort of engagement with electronic devices so that they can alter and fluctuate the radio frequency to literally either encode unconscious implants for programming or to literally overwrite things you've already done so that they can then determine later with what you've produced where they can fit it in somewhere else and or in what manner you can be socially engineered to meet benchmarks in the future. See, I'm inside right now, and I'm supposed to be grateful, and I am. But I spent 3 years in the beta testing for this specific moment right now on the street. What happens when we were supposed to leave? What happens when we leave and we go back out into society? And I'm not talking about now. Right now, if you're out on the street, the presentation of being out on the street is as part of some sort of social movement in a way that it hadn't been characterized before. To be honest with you, I'm not in that sort of milieu. I was on the streets for 3 years protesting. It didn't really seem to make a difference because by the time I got inside and I got access to the means to be able to communicate with people, they had already made all the stuff I was protesting confidential. So let me ask you, these protesters that are out right now, how many of them are trying to cut deals with the city or with the locality that's going to require them to keep certain information confidential about the terms? Well, today's bond offering closed at 4:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it's almost 5 o'clock Central Standard Time. It means it's been closed for about 2 hours. Did you get in the bonding that you needed? Did you get your friggin' deal on Dallas? Because if you don't have the record, chances are by the time you actually get the settlement on that bond, it's going to be confidential.